Hey all, how's it going? Getting ready to do a little more painting here. I know I got a lot of light behind me, so it's gonna be weird. So you're gonna have a lot of dark in front of me and light in back of me. So that's probably not the typical recommended uh, way to the way to do background lighting. I know I could. Alexa, turn on Captain Atom. Yeah, it's a little better. What do you say? What's it gonna do? Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some more minis for Frosthaven. I'm not basically the same guys. I just keep slapping on more paint, getting them more and more detailed, closer and closer to being done. I also got some new paints. I don't know if I'm going to use these today. I got the new two of the three new Vallejo sets. They're airbrush metallic color shift. They're airbrush metallic color shift paints, and I guess the way the light hits them changes the way they look. I'm tempted to just get out a mini and try them out, see what they do. I have a skeleton here. Maybe I could use a skeleton as a skeleton or a rat. I have both a skeleton and a rat that I might like to throw some on. I don't know yet if I want to actually put any on these guys because I'm not sure what they do. I don't know what these paints are going to do. So that's kind of the... So somebody painted this mini. I didn't. This is... what's the focal point? Way up here? That's going to be pretty hard to paint at. I'm going to have to drop that focal point a little bit. Let's see here. Just for my own peace of mind or sanity, focal point that's that high is going to be crazy. I'm going to adjust this a little bit more so it's a little bit less tiny. Hopefully it won't be too fuzzy or blurry. There's a pretty good chance that that's a possibility. I'm trying to make the most out of a webcam, and webcams are what they are. They're not particularly fantastic as far as so yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, so this guy is a ghost that I did not paint, but he's not terrible in the way he's painted, but I think it could use some highlights. That's what I'm thinking of, just kind of brushing on some stuff, getting some ghostly grays, and just kind of pop him a little bit more. Because I'm going to be using him as my, what do they call it? The Shadow Beast, or whatever it's called on the, on my characters. Oh, that does go underneath. Huh, interesting. I don't know how my water is doing here. I need more water. I do that. I prepare the cameras and set everything up, and then I go, oh, but I don't have my paint station ready. Just a second, I can grab some water from the bathroom here. Okay. Let's see, do we have the mic working? Is it audible? It's one of the things I always gotta check too. Yep, we're good. So anyway, I purchased some new paints. Well, I didn't purchase them. I got these for my son. Actually, got these for me for my birthday. It's the 2 of the 3 new Vallejo sets. They're metallic color shift, and they're actually going to be interesting. I haven't tried them out. I'm excited to see what they do though, so I might practice on a couple of those first. So I'm adding more water to my wet palette because it dried out. And as you can see, it's, I don't know if you can see, but kind of soaked it all up. And there we go, it's all gone. All my water is once again not there. So the palette is wet now. Poured a good chunk of water in there actually. It just dries out. I mean, even to a point. It's been a while. You know, I haven't painted in a few days or whatever. It does tend to dry out, especially since I get so cold in here and I'm cranking up the heat all the time. So it's going to be interesting because I got to put these paints somewhere. I'm going to need to add a new X case to my cases here, or mage cage. Yeah, probably an X case for the paints, but anyway. So I don't know what these do, but I'm thinking of trying one out. I was thinking about practicing on one of these little rats just to see what it does, and then maybe practicing on a skeleton. I mean, they have some interesting colors. Like these ones here are Galaxy Dust is made up of a violet, a gold, a turquoise, a green, blue, and a dark green, and another dark green, a dark green versus light green. And then the magic dust is made up of a darker violet. It's called old copper. First one is light violet green. And this one's kind of, and then there's a cold pale blue, a pearl violet, an old silver pale violet, old copper and old silver. And then silver pink, and then golden yellow burnt orange. I don't know. None of those sound very fleshy though, do they? So I'm gonna have to, I don't know how good, and none of those sound like a color you'd put on a skeleton. Unless he's a weird looking shiny skeleton, but it looks like stuff you can put on an armor or something of that nature. So I might want to think about grabbing me a skeleton that's armored at least, something that's carrying around some kind of a gear on him. Let's see if I have something like that. I don't have any real armored skeletons. I'd like to get some actually. You know, just ones that look like they died and turned into skeletons, having actually fought some in their lives. You know, these skeletons, their armor wasn't stolen from them. When they got rose up from the dead, they were, you know, they still had their armor. But, so I have these skeletons, but these again are just skeletons without any armor. So maybe I can't really test it on a skeleton. I think this stuff is going to have to be some kind of a, maybe a all right, well, I'm gender assigning the armor. Oh, you know, some women colors, pink, violet, whatever. I don't know. Okay, I know they don't all like pink and violet. Black and blues are just as female as anything else. I know. Don't shoot me. It's just, you know, this just my mind process. See if I got anything up here. There you go. But the thing is, I'm not big on color. You know, I do tend to color that way. I'm sorry. It's just my color schemes in my head are. First of all, I think pink can be a masculine color just as much as I think blues can be female colors. So I'm not saying it can't be done. I just lean towards more of them goes one way or the other. It's more often that I'm going to do that. I think it can be very rich and very nice and masculine as well if you're up for that kind of thing. And then of course, some guys don't really care if it's masculine, right? So it's not their concern. They just like the color and they're going to wear it because it's cool to them, and everybody to their own taste. So that's how it goes. So Anyway, I'm going to try some stuff here. Like, I don't know, what is silver pink? So ultimately it's just pink, but it's supposed to shine. That's what this stuff does. It's supposed to be, I don't know, they metallic. They're metallic colors that aren't your general metallics, like silver and golds. This is pearl. That's interesting. It's like a shiny white. So it's basically adding a shine to colors that you might not typically have color in that you would think of. So it's going to add a sheen to those. And I'm really curious how that's going to come. Look out. It might make, I'm thinking like the pearl might make white have a kind of a leathery look. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I've never actually seen it. Pale blue. That's interesting. And gold. What gold? Well, that's a gold pale blue. I really don't have anywhere to put these. My X cases are all getting full. I'm getting paints. I'm collecting paints too much, man. You can never have too many paints, because if you can never have too many minis, then you can never have too many paints, right? Isn't that the rule? Turquoise violet and pale blue. I'm gonna try it. That's my two color combo. I'm gonna try it. Let's see how this turquoise violet. Turquoise violet is that a green? No, it's more of a teal. What is turquoise? Turquoise it's just a blue, isn't it? What color is a turquoise? I mean, what is it blended with is all I'm saying. What's its turquoise violet. Interesting. What makes this interesting is if you look at these paints. Look. So this is turquoise violet. Let me let me get a light on here so you can see what I'm pointing out. Where'd my handle go? I had a handle up here and it's vanished. Hello, handle. What? Oh, there it went. Why did I take it off the box? I don't know what I'm thinking. I need this handle here so I can. Oh, I was demoing the X case. That's what it is. I took it off to demo it. That's what happened. There we go. There we go. Now I can put my lights. Okay. So. Pearl violet. So what would you think that's? Kind of a light purple? Okay. Look. Alright, so there you go. There's kind of shaken up pearl violet. And then this is gold pale blue. Gold pale blue. Which is interesting because if you really look at it, those gold and blue, not really the same. So that's going to be a really odd thing. I mean, they don't go together as you would think. So look at the colors here. So see how it has gold and blue and then pearl and violet. So a light color and a slightly dark and a dark and a darker. But look at the colors. Look at the bottle of paint. I mean, just looking at the paint. They don't look like they're all that different. They're very much, they look the same, even though on here they're not. It's kind of weird. It's like they just filled all the bottles up with the same stuff. Now, I don't know if that's true. I'm sure it's not the case, but just looking at it. And then this one, what the heck is the deal with this lid? This one here is really dark, right? Turquoise violet. I mean, that's got a really dark color there, right? Shake that one up real good. And voila! It looks the same. Look at those colors. Which one's the gold pale violet? Which one's the darker color? Which one's the lighter one? It's like, yeah, Are you sure you didn't put the same paints in there? I know your little pictures here show three kind of different paints, but I'm not seeing the difference in the actual paint. Alexa, turn off heater. So yeah, that's kind of an odd thing. I don't know what to think of that. Let's put on some of this dark purple, this dark turquoise violet. I don't know. I'm just gonna slop some on her armor, and we'll see what that does. I have no idea what to expect. I have no idea if I even shook it up enough. They say when you get a fresh bottle of paint, you should shake it up for about 2 minutes. But at what point is it a fresh bottle of paint? In which times, I mean, like, how long do you let it sit before it's not a 2-minute shake? 1 day, 1 week? Can you ever just get away with, you know, a quickie shake? All right, good enough. I want to paint this thing. That shows pretty dark color. And even on here, it looks pretty white. So I have no idea what to expect of this. That's weird to me. I don't know. That doesn't look like much of a color to me. This certainly doesn't look like a dark purple turquoise violet thing. Something's fishy here. Something's fishy. Certainly not a dark color. Now this is an airbrush paint, technically, which means it's very thin. You can paint with airbrush paints without actually being in an airbrush. But, let's see here. Oh my gosh, it actually goes on much darker color than it's showing. Crazy. Crazy. Now this guy's not technically, I don't actually think it's, oh, that's weird. It's really going on purpley. I mean, very metallic-y too. Well, maybe. It's got a white, like, fuzz. It's like as soon as you put the paint down on it. Now, I don't think this guy is technically primered. Probably should have primered it. Yeah. That would have probably been good. Let's see if this paint wants to stick to this. Oh. Kind of crazy. It does actually look a lot darker than I expected it to, considering the color of this white paste on my board. But you know, the thing is about that is, if I come back and don't want to paint again, and I have like two of these colors on my board, I'm going to be like, which one was the purple? Which one was the violet color? Because I think they all look the same on here. Now I'll be the first to admit, I've got a little color deficiency. I can see the colors, but it's not, you know, two things that look pretty close to the same look pretty close to the same to me. You know, I do have a little trouble with my reds and greens. I can see them if they're bunched up, like separated. Like I could tell you which one's red and which one's green if you separate them. But if you mix up a lot of cubes that are red and green, I might make some mistakes in separating them. Just something about them all being together, my brain doesn't calculate them out right. Then if you separate them, I'll go, that one's red, that one's green. So it's like in mass, I can see it. But sometimes you have small specks of red inside of a green thing. I might be a little bit off on my guesses. So, but still, I can see the difference in colors. I'll tell you this: if you put a bunch of colors side by side, I can tell you that they're all different. I just can't tell you which one's red and which one's green. I'll say this one's not the same color. That's how I separate. I look at them and I go, well, these are obviously different colors. And you put 5 colors in there, I'll give you 5 colors. And then you'll say, which one's red and which one's green? And I'm like, well, now that I've separated them, this one's red. But when I was separating them, I could just tell you that this wasn't the same color. It's like my brain sometimes has struggles with separating small colors and telling you, well, why is there a red one in there? I could just tell you, well, there's one in there that's not green. Or sometimes I've said something kind of goofy like, that that green one there looks weird. It's because it's not green, it's red. It's like, oh, that would explain it. Why does that green one not look green to me? That's because you can't tell the difference. So yeah, I do have that issue, but this is why sometimes that's why I read the bottles to make sure if I'm looking for a certain color. But it's not that when I paint them, I can tell you, oh, these colors are overlapping, or these are totally not, not behaving the way I expect. And I'll look at this, and I'm telling you right now, this has definitely got a purple look to it. And it surprises me, to be honest. It does. Now this is an airbrush paint, which means it's thin, so the color underneath actually kind of shines through. And in doing that, it's actually going to make me do more layers if I actually wanted to show correct, if I want this gray not to be too prominent. It just surprises me at how much this violet shows, considering that it looks so pasty white. I actually expected it to be really hard to tell that it was even a color. But I put it on, there's no doubt about it. It's definitely not. That's kind of cool, really. This paint is really kind of cool. She's definitely going to have some blingy look. She's going to be all blinged out, man. I wish I was good enough at airbrushing that I could. I don't know how people airbrush minis like this. I mean, they'll like airbrush in detail. Like they'll be painting the arms and the hair and the legs, and they do it all, and they separate a lot of it with the airbrush. I'm like, how do you do that? That is so intricate of a skill, man. So when you're painting something that you want to, when you're painting with such a thin paint, oftentimes it takes multiple coats to get it to go where you want it to stop showing the gray so much through it. But it's actually kind of cool. I really like that. Very metallic-y. I mean, this is not a light metallic. This isn't one of those things that you're looking at and going, huh, it's almost like there's a metallic. No, you're like, there's metallic in there. This is sparkly metallic. This is the kind of metallic that you can kind of for sure. There's no hint. It's not just a shiny color, it's a metallic color. Just fine. That's what I knew what it was. It's kind of weird though. It's cool. Now this character is not, I'm sorry, this is not a Frosthaven character, but that's because I was a little apprehensive of trying these colors on the Frosthaven guys, because I wasn't sure what to expect. So I wanted to go with a safe figure. Not one that I expected to ruin. I didn't think it was going to ruin a figure, but I had to figure out, I wanted to see how shiny it is, how much it sticks out. What does it actually look like compared to the box, or compared to... I didn't see anybody using these online. It's not that I didn't look. I mean, it's because I didn't look. I'm just saying I haven't seen anyone look at using them. Now there were reviews that these are kind of cool. I like these paints, or whatever. But that's all I know. I didn't actually go to YouTube and go, oh look, that dude's painting with these So then you see, it's really kind of cool. Now I'll be doing other parts and pieces to call more of it out as I get further on. But right now I'm just painting her armor up because I won't be able to tell this paint when I look at it next time. This is my female barbarian. I've been trying to collect more female characters. There's a lot of male characters, male barbarians, male everything. You know, there's some witch hunters, a lot of female witch hunters and rangers and archers, whatever. And druids, that's pretty common too. You know, druids, or what do they call them? Dryads. Um, there's a lot of those out there, but finding female, like typically masculine type characters are a little bit tougher, just because they just don't make as many of them. So it's cool to find one. So I'm even trying to pick up, like, I'm noticing that most of the monsters you get that are kind of have a male female appearance are mostly male. I mean, you know, they don't have any female isms to them. None of the expected chest sizes, or I'm not talking about big and, you know, overly sexualized. I'm just talking about obvious females. You know, that's all I'm saying. Just because it'd be cool to have characters that aren't all male. Even the bad guys need to be female every now and then. You know, sometimes you just gotta. You know, they even make a movie. Why Women Kill. My wife's been watching that lately. It's not a movie. It's a TV show, I guess. But she started watching that today. I'm like, what are you watching? She's like, Why Women Kill. I'm like, should I be worried? But, yeah, so. But anyway, so yeah, when women out there are saying, I know you're all like, oh, I can do this just like you can. Whatever you can do, I can do better. It's like, well, does that go for killing too? I hope not. I hope that's kind of a not as common. I hope nobody's doing that. No, you're not trying to win that war, are you? So I'm actually planning to trim this with like a different color, but I'm going to paint it with this color and then I'll trim it with a different color later. I just wanted it to get the whole plate. I think I'll probably do those little spikes on her armor a little bit different too. And like I said, I gotta do multiple layers just to get it so it's the gray is not so obvious. And it'll become more and more purple or violet the more I layer it. But it does kind of have a cool, see how the light kind of hits it different? I'm getting hot. I gotta take my sweatshirt off. Sweater, whatever this is. So I streamed earlier today. I did my Frosthaven outpost phase, but I streamed on my wrong user ID. I streamed on my fitness thing, so I was gonna download it and cut out because somebody came on there to talk to me for a bit, but they were asking why it was fitness, and I ended up talking about my workout stuff and the different things I do on. Do we need more light? Is that what the problem is here? I don't know. One of the things is when they're dark like this, they don't. I'm just trying to see where the focus point is. To be honest, I can't really tell. I don't know where it's trying to focus at. Might not be great. I may not have a focus point. Maybe my problem is I picked a range and I thought, well, at some point between here and there, it'll be focused. But maybe that's not true. I just needed to find it because I just did less than all the way down, but maybe it's not enough. Because she's very detailed. This girl's got very detailed. So if you can't see the detail in her, then my focus point ain't working. Now, metallics can be rough on your brushes, from what I understand. So you want to make sure you don't ever let it dry on your brush. The metal flakes can be kind of rough. So you got to make sure you keep it. So I'm wondering if like adding this to other paints. I mean, like mix it in with some other purples, and it would tone down the reflectiveness, put a little bit more. What do you call it? Non-metallic taste, just a touch. So you just get a touch of metallic rather than full on, full blast metallic like this is. Because this is, like I said, this is a metallic look. It's not just silver. It's not just a shine. But it's actually got metal, flaky looks to it. Which is fine if you're okay with that. But I think mixing it with other paints would definitely reduce this metallicness. And it might give you a more natural look. Kind of get your blue or whatever you're putting it into a little bit of a metallic taste, but not like a full-on. Plus, it would probably layer whatever you're putting it on better. Because like right now, I'm having some trouble getting this to actually cover up the gray enough. Plus, I probably should have primered. That would have probably helped too. It is kind of a cool though. So really what I'm doing is I'm adding a purple to the gray, and it's actually not the worst. It's giving a gray, it's like making it the grayness have a purple hue to it, which is actually kind of cool too. It's just a different thing on its own. Somebody will look at it and go, is that just gray? I mean, what is that weird color you got there? No, that's a poorly painted gray resin. Oh, very cool. That's a new way to go. Well, thanks. I didn't exactly plan it. I just started putting this shiny paint on, and I realized that it wasn't sticking very well. All right. And I'm going to go back to the Frosthaven guys in just a minute. I just wanted to get a little bit of this on all of her armor. She has more than I actually thought she did, to be honest. I was looking at her thinking, she's only got a couple pieces, no problem. As I started painting her more and more, I'm like, she actually has quite a bit. She got it on her legs, she got it on her hips, she got it on her arms and her forearms. Just a lot of small pieces. And I'm obviously using it. It is getting on there. Because I actually used it all up off my palette. That's how I know. I may have to mix this with some other color the next time I try to use it. Just to pop it a little bit more. Alright. I did say I was going to do some Frosthaven. Like I said, I streamed my Frosthaven Outpost phase on the wrong stream. So tomorrow I will download that, edit it a bit, and then I will be sure to upload that to this stream. If anybody wants to see that. If you're interested in my latest Outpost phase, where Adrian gets to level up. Adrian does level up and get to level 4, and she got a lot of perks. Now, some of those are at the end of my last thing, because they were perks that she gained from completing things in the quest, where she completed battle goal, she completed 2 of her masteries, both of her masteries, which is, I was shocked. I actually thought it would take forever to get those done, but one of them I wasn't even trying for, but then I was able to go back and review and go, you know what? I actually completed this one. So, this is interesting. Now let's see if I can think of something to put it on any of the Frosthaven guys. Now, they don't have a ton of armor on them. They're like... If I just put this girl on the board like she is, she'd be kind of cool. I mean, she's not obviously painted enough. She don't have any flesh color or anything, but she is. This metallic just kind of gives her an interesting look. All right, what else we got here? I do have a little bit. She's kind of all out of paint. I'm all out of... And this shoulder thing of hers stands up really tall, and it looks very detailed on top, but underneath it just looks like piled up, like the, what do you call it? The resin piled up a little bit, just to get to that point. What time is it? 8:30. Got about a half hour more here. Half hour more. I know. I'm not a heavy duty. I don't paint for long periods like some of these guys. Some of these people online will go on and they paint from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock. I mean, it's their job, right? That's what they do. She's got some... Oh no! I popped her off of her base, dang it. She's only got a foot that sticks. I think I just popped that foot off. I was trying to hold her in place, but apparently I failed. She's only got a toe down, so that one toe on the ground, if you push on it too hard, will pop off. So that's kind of problematic. But all right, I gotta glue her back down. Dang it! But while I'm at it, while I have her out, I'm gonna pull off a couple of these. They call them the little stubs. Now, some of the minis you get from some of these online Etsy stores, this is one of those, actually come pre-primed, which is cool. And this one's actually pretty good. This is one of the ones I got that I think is pretty clean for the most part. The ones these tiny little pieces I'm pulling off is nothing. I got a couple minis from one shop that just had these everywhere. They didn't even try to clean it up. They just basically sent it to me straight off the printer. They broke off like the big chunks, but you could see all the little stubs. I mean, not just stubs. I mean, like 1/4 inch long parts that were just broke. I mean, it was just the parts that are left after you break it off of the printer. They didn't even they made no attempt at all to send them to you clean. And rest assured, my online review wasn't necessarily all that kind. I was not impressed. I do online reviews. I told them I was going to review it online, and they didn't care. They just sent it to me anyway. And then I told them that some of these things are all messed up. And I'm not even talking about the stent stuff, because you can clean that off, whatever. I didn't like it, but I could deal with it. But some of them had like missing fingers and other junk, and I told them, and they said, well, send us pictures. And then I sent them pictures, and that was that. Never heard from them again. I guess they go, well, thanks for the pictures. That's about how that went. Like, yeah, that's not so bad. We're not going to do anything about it, but thanks for the pictures. And they didn't say that, but it might as well have been what they said, because that's about what they did. Nothing. All right. Thing is about removing this stuff, these little stents and little stubs and stuff, is a lot of times you don't even see them until you're painting over them. You're like, whoa, I didn't see that one there. Alright, that's good enough. Alrighty, let's put them back. I gotta figure out how to put her back on there, because it's not that easy, sort of holding her. I may have to... So I was gluing together a beholder that I was going to paint for my son. He asked me to paint for him. So I generally I avoid painting common things like beholders. Everybody paints a beholder. You go online and you look up beholder painting images, and there are thousands of them. Everybody paints beholders. It's like, whoa, like no effort at all to do something different. So, but this guy had broke off his base. I don't know how he tell, or he may even come out. He may even come that way. But I wanted to get him glued back on, get him ready to go. And so he was using my. Now, as long as I don't, he's got a pretty good amount of material touching that base. But, so now, let's get a little glue on here, and I'll put this girl back on here. Usually it's not a problem to paint with them on the base, but whoa, hello, that was a lot more paint. See, I don't like super glue that comes out like this, because it really, see how that spread out? Holy cow! Just that went everywhere. I don't know how good super glue paints, but that wasn't cool. So much easier just to have her clipped. Just clip her in, and then I can put her down, and this arm will keep her in place for me. Yeah. Yeah. So it keeps popping off the base here. Hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to get back to painting. Just a minute. I don't want her to be all crooked. That's the problem. That could be the problem before. I may not have had her very good on there in the first place. Because you got to try to get her foot flat enough. So I'm not sure how well this glue is going to work after 5 minutes of me fiddling with it. I got to be really careful to put in the spot this time. I got to take these off. But you don't want to fiddle with it that long. Super glue is supposed to dry fast, right? So if you're fiddling with it forever, it's not gonna glue down. Trying to come up with a good place to hold her with this other arm so that it holds her in both directions. That'll just make it impossible for it to move once I've got it in place. Okay, I think I got her where I want her. And she's leaning a little, but I don't know that that's an option to change. Okay, she's good. Good enough for me. Besides, leaning a little is okay. Again, when you're running, you don't run perfectly straight up. Okay, back to it. Let's see what I can put on one of these other guys. I've got 4 guys with some amount of paint. I've got Cesar, my storytelling bard. And then I've got Adrian, who just leveled up to 4. Probably should get a little color on her, huh? What kind of cool color is there? The boxes have other colors. Pearl violet? I mean, why not? How about if I put a little bit of pearl violet in on something of hers? Huh? Pearl violet. It's a light color. Maybe on her. I don't know. Thing is, I'm not sure I want to go purely this because it is very metallic. Very metallic. I'm thinking it's either going to have to be on metal or I have to mix it with something else to thin out its colory properties. Mauve. Dark green tin. Dark green tin. Interesting. So on here, you can't even tell they're metallic. I mean, it just shows you the base color of it, so it doesn't actually show you what it, you don't have any idea how the metallic it really is. It's very metallic. And I'm just trying to decide how I want this to work. I wonder... Now, silver is... So here's what I'm talking about, the difference between kind of a metallic that's a metallic. So this is like a regular metallic. This is a silver. So it looks silver. It's got a shiny metallic look to it, but not metallic in the sense that you don't see the sparkly dots. These colors have sparkly dots. You see that in the color, and it looks cool in a lot of ways, but also it's not just like the picture of something that's silver and shiny. It's a shiny, sparkly color. Let's call it sparkly, not just shiny. Okay, so silver is shiny and gold is shiny, but metallic is sparkly. So you gotta know that you're getting sparkly when you put it on, or you might be in for a surprise. You'll be like, "Whoa, that's really sparkly." I mean, it's just sitting here, the little piece of my palette that's not. That's not that color. That I used up all the paint on. It's very, very, very a large amount of sparkly paper. It's like, why is my paper shiny? Sparkly. It's like having glitter in there. It's kind of what I'm talking about. It's like adding glitter to your... So this isn't quite so dark as what I put on the other girl, but... I'm going to add this to some silver here, because I want to see what it does if I actually add it. Now these are both Vallejo. I believe my silver is also Vallejo. Nope, yeah, the silver is also Vallejo. So I'm going to let's see what happens if I just like layer it on, I don't know, off to the side here. I'm just going to put it on the trim of her armor here. And we'll see what that does. She's got armor in a fair number of places, but I'm just going to put it like around the edges of her armor. See what that does. She's got a fair amount of armor I haven't even painted yet. What the heck? Let's paint this little upper part of her chest armor. So Squidmore, I don't know if you ever heard of Squidmore. He's a pretty well-known painter on. He does YouTube videos and stuff. He's way, he's got a million or so subscribers, whatever, crazy amounts, and he does a lot of interesting stuff, really cool dioramas and other stuff. He does some cool painting, but he also does reviews of paints and stuff like that. Does a lot everything related to miniatures, painting and such. So. And he did a review on the purest black and the purest chrome. There is some cool looking chrome and black out there, but one of the things he had a problem with the chrome is it was super shiny. All right, so, I mean, it looked like chrome right off the car. I mean, perfect. It was amazing, very cool. But it created this. Super slick, you couldn't adhere to it. You couldn't, like, if you painted the whole model in that color, you wouldn't be able to tell, or you wouldn't be able to add more paint, because new paint would really struggle to adhere to it, which caused, he wasn't a fan of that, because you couldn't, and now obviously if you're going to use something like that, it's like, that's what you put it down in the one spot you want it. And you don't like base a figure in that color because there's just too much, unless you just want the entire guy to be chrome, like Colossus. If you're trying to paint Colossus, even Colossus has colored out uniform, right? So even he's going to be like, you're probably not going to want to put it all on him at once. So, but it was super cool. Oh, and then he did a review of black, the purest black, the blackest of blacks. And he compared like Vallejo's black, which by the way came in second. But I'll tell you, compared to this one, I don't know, I forgot what it was called, like Ultra Black or some weird brand. That was an off-brand I never heard of. But this thing created such a black that literally all light, I mean, it looked like, unless you have it right up to your face with a bright light on it, you could not see detail. It was that black. It just sucked up so much light, you could barely even tell what the figure looked like. It was pretty freaking awesome. Now, I don't know how well you could paint over it or how well the black adhered, how charcoaly it was, whether or not it actually stuck well to the figure, I don't know. But it was a pretty impressive level of black. If you want pure black, you want crazy OLED blacks, that's the black for you, man. That is impressive. I was like, whoa, I got to get me some of that just because I want to try it. I want to use it as a trim or something and just make certain parts of a character, like put it on his face and his face just vanishes. Like, yeah, that is the ultimate in black right there. Vallejo's black is actually really good. Not this one. I forgot which one he had. I'll have to go look at it again and get some of that Vallejo one, because the Vallejo one is really good too. And Vallejo is, they're a standard acrylic paint, and they have a nice black. It's very, very black. does its job. Now I have one by Vallejo here called Pure Black. It's not that black. I mean, of course I've never painted a figure fully to really see what it is, but it's not that one. I know it wasn't. But I was impressed by the black. I was like, how does that work? Oh, that's so freaking cool. It basically made the mini almost just turn like to a shadow. And if you could put like highlights on it and just call out a shadow, like you could just see enough of the trim where it almost looks like a ghost. I think that would be pretty cool. Interesting. I don't know. This one I can't really see as much of the metallic in it as I did with that purple one. I am using the silver, which is lightening it up. So maybe that's, I don't know, deadening the sparkle. But I don't know. Of course, I am putting it on another metallic. Maybe that's part of it. But it is brightening up her armor a little bit, though. So I guess that's good. Her armor is kind of dull. I was going to try to put something on this guy. I think with him, I'm just going to do something simple, like how about some dry brushy? Oh, apparently my wife got me these new dry brushes. They're really good ones. They were on my wish list, but she ordered them, and they're coming from Europe, so they are taking their sweet time to get here, man. They're doing great. Sweet time. Let's see if this white is salvageable at all. Yeah, maybe. Alright, so that's not too bad. Got most of my paint back. Salvaged it some. I was thinking about using those metallics on this wrap, but I think a metallic wrap would be weird, so I'm not doing that. Oh, quite a bit of paint on there still. It's not as good as I'd like. See, I'm not a big fan of dry brushing because dry brushing is weird to me. It doesn't always work like I'd hope it would. I mean, it does get a shadowy. It does kind of hit the target, but it just leaves brushy strokes, and I'm not a fan of it for that reason. Now, maybe my more my new dry brush set will do better. I don't know. Probably should, because it's got more bristles. More bristles means more even layer versus me trying to use this thin brush, which probably doesn't have quite the same layered effect that I'd like. I have to go over this guy again just to deaden some of these brush strokes. Cover it with some more, I don't know, ethereal black or something. Corporeal shadow. It's not the worst thing because it kind of gives it a misty look. I mean, it works okay for a ghost like this or wraith or bone shadow or whatever. But I wanted to have a little less obviousness about its look. So that makes her look a little ghostier. That's not too bad. Yeah. Now it's not as shadowy, I guess, but I'm probably gonna dumb it down, make it less. What time is it? Oh, it's 9 o'clock. My bedtime. Tomorrow I gotta go on an all liquid diet. Yay me! Just for a day, but it's 24 hours of drinking and drinking and drinking, trying to fill my stomach up so I don't feel hungry. But it's going to be tough because it's all liquid crap. So, hey, I'll lose some weight tomorrow. I'm peeing and whatever. That'll be fun. You know, I'm not going to give you any more info. I don't want to do it. I'm not doing the TMI thing. But some of you out there probably know what that implies. Sure. All right. So synthetic brushes are funny because they don't clean off the same way that the sable, real not synthetic, real hair brushes. Synthetic hair brushes are weird. So now this is not a bad brush for dry brushing. The biggest problem with it is, of course, that it doesn't have enough bristles. I don't think it covers its, so it doesn't do a smooth enough thing because you're doing like all your bristles are in a line. So when you do them, when you're brushing over, they're not covering each other's tracks. There's no brushes, not enough bristles behind it. A round brush is better. And I don't have any of those, but hopefully these new brushes of mine, when I get them, will do that trick a little bit better. Okay, so what else do I want to try to do? It's 9 o'clock. Oh, dang. Cressa could use some more paint. She's getting close. Her eyes need. How about if I put some eyes? I'm going to put the whites in her eyes so that I can eventually put some color in her eyes as well. So let's go ahead and do that. She's got a decently detailed face. Some of these characters, not so much. Funny thing is about this white is that it dries up really fast. Like it'll dry right on my brush. Alexa, turn on porch light. What? Can't even see it. I'm trying to look out on the porch. Can't see what's out there. Dogs are barking. I was just checking to see if there's something they're seeing out there. Well, she's got whites in her eyes now. Now I just got to figure out how to get some pupils in there. Something. She's something. Should I put some of these weird colors in her on her armor? That might be cool. Put something on there. But for now, I'm gonna call it. I know, wasn't very long. Was a tiny little session of actual painting, but that's all right. We'll get more done as time goes on. That's it. Each time I get a little bit more paint on, I can at least say I did what I said I'd do. A little paint between each scenario, and that's a little paint. I'll probably do more before I do another scenario. So supposedly we might do D&D this week. We'll see. Haven't played in like 6 weeks or something. So, and it's one of the people is remote, so I don't know yet for sure if that's practical for him. But we will find out, because he's got to figure out, how he's going to set up and how am I going to get. I mean, he just needs to do Discord, and then I have to set up my computer to actually pick him up, and yeah. Probably not too hard because if I don't stream it. I haven't been streaming my D&D sessions lately because there hasn't been enough interest in them yet. And it's because I also do them on the same day that Critical Role does them. And, everybody wants to see Critical Role because they're cool. They know what they're doing. They don't have an amateur DM like me. Okay. Till next time. Take it easy.